Let's be honest with each other for a second. You're tired. You're tired of watching the lifestyle videos, tired of the gurus telling you it's easy, and frankly, you're tired of your own excuses. Every morning you wake up with this heavy feeling in your chest, a nagging suspicion that you were meant for something massive, yet here you are, stuck in the same loop, looking at the same bank balance and feeling like the world is passing you by. You are here because you have reached the critical intersection of desire and despair. You possess the ambition to climb, yet you feel as though an invisible wall has been erected between you and your definite chief aim. What you are about to find out is that this wall is a mental construct, a final test of your persistence before the gates of opportunity swing open. I am calling you out because the average mind quits when the results are hidden, but the mind tuned to the frequency of success knows that the darkest hour is merely a prelude to the dawn. You are standing at the precise moment where the weak retreat to the safety of mediocrity. Today, I am going to show you why your current struggle is the most accurate sign that you are closer than you think, and how one final push of specialized effort will bridge the gap between where you are and where you are destined to be. The great tragedy of the human experience is that most men and women are defeated not by a lack of ability, but by the lack of a long-range mental lens. We have been conditioned by a world of immediate gratification to expect a harvest the same day we plant the seed. In school, you are taught that effort equals an immediate grade. In a job, you are taught that 2 weeks of labor equals a paycheck. This has created a wage earner consciousness that is diametrically opposed to a wealth creator consciousness. The problem is that the laws of nature, the very laws that govern the accumulation of great fortunes, do not operate on a bi-weekly schedule. Success follows the law of backloaded results. Imagine you are heating a cube of ice in a room that is -10 degrees. You turn the heat up to -9 degrees. Nothing happens. You turn it up to -5 degrees. Still, nothing happens. You are exerting energy, you are changing the atmosphere, and you are vibrating with effort, yet to the naked eye, the ice remains a solid, stubborn block. A mind not schooled in the philosophy of success will look at that ice and declare, "I am failing. My effort is producing no change." This is the moment of the Great Reset. Most people, frustrated by the lack of visual proof, turn the heat off just as the room reaches -1 degree. They abandon their business, their study, or their discipline right at the threshold of the phase shift. They then move to a new room, a new opportunity, and start again at -10 degrees. They spend their entire lives in the freezing phase, perpetually busy but never reaching the melting point. They are victims of shiny object syndrome, which is really just a polite term for a lack of persistence. You must understand that the silence of the process is not the absence of progress. When you are working toward a major goal, your progress is often latent. It is being stored. Like the tension in a bowstring before the arrow is released, your effort is accumulating potential energy. If you are currently in that frozen phase, the worst mistake you can make is to change direction. Every time you switch your focus, you bleed out the mental heat you have worked so hard to generate. The results you seek are not being withheld as a punishment. They are being prepared as a reward for the person who has the character to continue when there is no applause. You are not failing. You are simply in the loading phase of the law of accumulation. To master your destiny, you must understand the law of accumulation, which I often refer to as the plateau of latent potential. This is the hidden mechanism that separates the master from the amateur. This law dictates that every great achievement is the result of 1,000 small, seemingly insignificant sacrifices that have reached a critical mass. The hidden principle is that the results of your effort are almost always delayed, creating a valley of disappointment where your expectations of progress exceed your actual results. Think of your mind and your career as a massive, heavy flywheel. A flywheel is a colossal iron wheel on an axle. To get it moving even an inch, you must push with every ounce of your strength. You push for an hour, and it barely moves. You push for a day, and it's still just crawling. You are exhausted. Your peers look at you and wonder why you are wasting your strength on something that won't budge. But you keep pushing. You stay consistent. Eventually, the weight of the wheel begins to work with you. It gains its own momentum. This is the flywheel effect. Once it reaches a certain speed, you no longer have to push. The wheel generates its own power, spinning with a force that is unstoppable. The wealthy understand that the first 90% of their effort will likely produce only 10% of their visible wealth. However, that final 10% of effort, the part where most people have already quit, will produce 90% of the harvest. Your mind is currently being programmed by every repeated action. When you show up for your definite purpose when you are tired, you are adding weight to that flywheel. When you choose to study the laws of success instead of indulging in idle entertainment, you are increasing the temperature of your mental room. There is a psychological trap here. Your primitive brain is designed for survival, which requires the conservation of energy. If it doesn't see an immediate return on investment, it will scream at you to stop. It will tell you that you are being unrealistic. To defeat this, you must move from outcome-based thinking to identity-based thinking. If you say, "I am a millionaire," but your bank account is empty, your mind feels the sting of a lie. But if you say, "I am the type of person who never misses a day of self-improvement," then every single day you win. You create an immediate internal feedback loop of success. You are here because your mind has already begun to shift. You have already done the most difficult work, which is the initial movement of the flywheel from a dead stop. This takes 100 times more energy than keeping it spinning. The fact that you are seeking this knowledge is proof that your zero-degree moment is inevitable, provided you do not allow the fire of your ambition to be extinguished by temporary silence. Look at the natural world for the most perfect example of this principle. The giant timber bamboo. When you plant the seed of this bamboo, you must water it and fertilize it every single day. For the first year, you see nothing, not a single sprout. For the second year, third year, and fourth year, still nothing. To the uninformed observer, you are watering a patch of dirt. You look like a dreamer who has lost touch with reality. Then, in the fifth year, a miracle occurs. The bamboo breaks through the soil and grows 80 feet tall in just 6 weeks. I ask you, did the bamboo grow 80 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow 80 feet in 5 years? The answer is obvious. If at any point during those 4 silent years you had stopped watering that dirt, the bamboo would have withered and died in the ground. Many of you are currently in your root phase. You are building the invisible infrastructure of your future empire. Consider the story of a man who starts a new venture. Let's call him an overnight success. For 3 years, he lives in a small apartment, works 18 hours a day, and faces constant rejection. His family tells him to get a real job. To the world, he is a failure. But during those 3 years, he was developing a specialized knowledge that no one else had. He was sharpening his master-mind alliance. He was learning how to transmute his frustrations into focused action. In the 4th year, he signs 1 contract. Because he has spent 3 years preparing his roots, he is able to execute that contract perfectly. Suddenly, he is on the cover of magazines. People say, "He got so lucky." It wasn't luck. If he had signed that contract in month 1, he would have failed. He wouldn't have had the character or the competence to handle the pressure. He was 99% of the way to his fortune in year 3, even though his bank account was at 0. He was closer than he thought because the person he had become was already a success. The gap between you and your goals is not a distance measured in miles. It is a distance measured in competence and character. Imagine there are 10 levels of skill required to reach your definite chief aim. You are currently at level 8. You have worked incredibly hard to get there. But level 8 pays the exact same as level 1 nothing. The market does not pay for almost. It pays for the finish line. Because you see no change in your pay, you assume you haven't moved. But the moment you hit level 10, your rewards do not just increase by 2 levels, they explode. This is the winner-take-all effect. The individual who is just 10% more persistent and 10% more skilled than the average often receives 0% more compensation. You might be at level 9 right now. You might be 1 habit, 1 connection, or 1 insight away from your level 10 explosion. If you quit now, you are quitting on the version of yourself that is already standing at the door of the treasure house. Your roots are deep enough, you are simply waiting for the 5th year to arrive. How do you maintain the mastermind required to reach the finish line? How do you ensure you don't walk away when the gold is just 3 feet deeper? First, you must measure the input, not the output. Since the reward is delayed, the reward is a poor teacher. If you judge your value by the size of your paycheck today, you will be discouraged. Instead, judge yourself by your success habits. Did you follow your plan? Did you exercise self-discipline? If you controlled your mind today, you have already won. Second, you must audit your critical skill. Ask yourself, what is the one specialized knowledge I am missing that would make my success inevitable? Often, we are held back by a single bottleneck. It might be your ability to sell, your ability to focus, or your ability to manage your time. Identify that level 10 skill and pursue it with a burning desire. When that bottleneck is removed, the ice melts instantly. Third, stop the starting over habit. Every time you abandon a project to chase a new trend, you are resetting your mental temperature. You are digging up your bamboo seeds to see if they are growing. Leave them in the ground. Commit to your definite chief aim for a period of no less than 2 years. Give the law of accumulation time to work its magic. Fourth, look for invisible signals. While the money may be absent, look for signs of growth in your character. Are you more disciplined? Do you handle setbacks with more poise? Are you attracting higher quality thoughts? These are the cracks in the ice. They are the evidence that your phase shift is imminent. Finally, protect your mental attitude. If you are at level 8, but you associate with level 2 people, they will try to pull you down to their level of comfort. They will tell you your dreams are impossible because they cannot see your roots. Surround yourself with a mastermind group of individuals who understand that success is a process, not an event. You must trust the law. If you keep adding heat to the room, the ice must melt. It is a mathematical certainty. The only way you can fail is if you remove the heat before the temperature reaches the melting point. Success is a quiet, steady climb before it is a loud, public explosion. We often imagine that wealth arrives with a sudden stroke of luck, but in reality, it arrives after a long period of invisible progress, where you simply refuse to stop when others did. If you feel the weight of frustration today, I want you to embrace it. That frustration is the stretching of your soul. It is the proof that you are operating at the edge of your current capacity. The greatest fortunes in history were not built by people who never felt like quitting. They were built by people who felt like quitting every single day, but decided to water the dirt for just one more day. You are here because you are ready for the harvest. You have already done the heavy lifting. You have survived the freezing temperatures and the long years of the root phase. Do not be the man who stops digging when he is 3 feet from the gold. Do not be the woman who stops watering the bamboo in the 4th year. Your 0-degree moment is not a maybe. It is a law. Your flywheel is gaining speed. Your only responsibility is to stay in the room and keep the heat turned up. The wealth, the freedom, and the life you have visualized are not just dreams. They are the inevitable consequences of the person you have become. Stay the course. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.